Hey everybody, I'm Suzanne and I have some exciting news. This Saturday, which will be August the 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to do a live stream is what I'm gonna do. And with the help of my son, we're gonna go ahead and answer your questions. And I will be doing a demo of a little, just some little foxes, little fox pups. And but you can paint along, and I'll even supply the reference that I'm going to be using, at least one of them. I usually paint from several references, so I change lighting, so nothing that I usually paint is exactly like the photo reference that I use. So I'll be able to answer your questions on how I do that and what I do when I'm painting. So I hope that you plan on joining me. I want to make this available for my YouTube members as well as my Patreon patrons. So thank you for supporting me. I want you to know how important it is just to have you guys there, to have my supporters through my YouTube membership and through my Patreon. So I want to try to do this as I say monthly. My son seems to think I should do this at least twice a month. But anyway, I'm going to be doing this more and more. And if I have the response that I hope I will have, then I will do it this often and go live with you guys. And again, you can paint along, you can ask questions. I want to be able to be more available to you, my members and my patrons. So this is something I'm really itching to try. Yeah, my son is he helps me so much with technology and everything. And we're really working on doing a better job. So yes, be sure to join me on Saturday, August the 6th, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna have some fun. What we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you this, the little photo reference that we're gonna use is this of little fox cubs. And I'm going to do this as it's gonna be not fully rendered. And I'm gonna take you step by step. I'm gonna let you see how I approach a piece from start to finish. And I'm only thinking we'll be on maybe for 2 hours for this live stream. So the painting won't be completely rendered, but you're gonna get a really good idea of how I approach a piece, how what execution I take in establishing a piece, and how I work on composition, how I change things around. And again, if you've watched my videos, you've heard me say, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it a million times, that a photo reference is simply that. It's a reference, and it's not something that I generally copy. So one of the things that one of the questions I get a lot from folks, whether you're members or just subscribers on my YouTube channel or my Patreon patrons, is how come I don't always supply the references? And there's a good reason for that. One, I'm oftentimes working from many references. If I'm doing a portrait, say of a dog, and if you just happen to watch my last video of the black pug, my clients give me a reference, and this is the one reference that I'm using. So oftentimes that's what I'm working from. Sometimes I'm only working from two. But if I'm doing a wildlife piece, I'm often changing the lighting, reworking I need it for structure. I need the reference for structure. So it's not always the same, because I am taking the references and making the painting that is appealing to me, what I see in my head. And sometimes what I see in my head is not the same as the reference. So that's really one of the major explanations as why I don't always share my references. Another is I may not have permission to share them with you. I may have permission to use them for my painting, but I don't always have permission if I haven't taken the photo myself from the person who supplies the reference. So that's another big one why I don't always share them. But I'm going to go ahead and share the reference that I'm going to use for Saturday's painting with you guys. And I'll supply that to my members on my YouTube channel and to my Patreon members. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump in and have a really fun time. And I'm looking forward to answering your questions. it's going to be fun. If you're here, you're mainly here because you like doing wildlife, and I like doing wildlife. And I also like doing a lot of dogs and cats and domestic animals as well. And I figured I picked the fox pups because it is a wildlife piece. And this will probably be one of the pieces that I will send to one of the galleries that carries my work in North Carolina. So I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone, because since a fox is a canine, doing fox pups isn't that different from doing a domestic dog pup. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and do this. So I know that some of my Patreon folks have noticed that a lot of my videos that I post that are on my YouTube channel that don't make it to Patreon, because I do a lot of time lapse, or there seems to be a spot that's missing, like, oh, I didn't notice it. How did you put the eyes in? I didn't see you do that. And it's just because of through editing and through the course of a day that sometimes that doesn't happen. It doesn't all get in there. So by jumping in live with me on Saturday, the 6th of August at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll get to see real time how I approach a piece and how I start it. Sometimes I do a sketch, sometimes I do a wipeout, sometimes I just jump in, and knowing that I'm probably going to be changing the lighting a little bit from the reference that I'm going to have, I'll even get to show you how I just manipulate the lighting in a piece to, I don't know, suit my fancy, I suppose. So I hope that you plan on joining me. I'm looking forward to answering your questions and having you guys on the live chat. So for folks who aren't familiar with my membership, I do have several different tiers on my YouTube membership. And the best tier for if you're really looking for mentoring and having a coach, a painting coach, you might want to look at my highest membership platform on my membership on YouTube, and it allows you, for that price, you get to have me critique your work and help bring you along and help suggest, perhaps you try this, or have you tried this? You're a little bit, if I'm looking at a structure of a dog, I might be able to suggest that you know what, you need to have some cooler and dark values in here. I can't see the shadows. I can help critique your work. So be sure to consider becoming a YouTube member. And with YouTube membership, you get priority on all the, how do I say it? You get first opportunity for a lot of the chats, first quick responses on the chats. You get shout outs on my channel. I will give you shout outs and say, hey, Laura Levine, hey, thanks for becoming a member, or Mel Scott, I am so glad you're here today. This sort of thing. Barbara Page, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a shout out as we're talking. And I have others that, Alice, I'm gonna say, hey, you will get shout outs on my YouTube channel. You know that your membership is so important to me because it does allow me to do this sort of thing. It allows me to be able to come in and do live streams and buy new equipment so I can do this better. So your membership helps support me so much, and through the membership, I want to try to get to know you better and support you with your painting journey as well. So do check out my membership program on my YouTube platform. Also, for my Patreon folks, you know how much your patronism, being a patron means to me as well. And you guys get to see all my untouched videos. And that again is going to be something that we're going to be doing more of. I've been wanting to go live, doing live streams more and more. And I think we're gonna really, this is it. I think we're jumping into it. So yeah, I want to thank all my Patreon folks for being there. If you watch my videos to the end, you see that I give all my Patreon folks, I roll them in the credits as well. And I am so grateful for your being a patron on my Patreon channel. So, and on Patreon, that is where, if you're a YouTube member, that is where you're going to find the real-time, full-length videos that I do on YouTube. So oftentimes my YouTube videos tend to be time-lapsed, or there's condensed versions of what the folks see on the Patreon channel. So if you are a YouTube member and you really want a little bit more, jump on my Patreon as well. There's a benefit to being on either side, and a lot of my YouTube members are also Patreon members. So you get to have the full-length videos on my Patreon channel, and you get to have more of the shout outs and live streaming on my YouTube membership, including all the shout outs and that sort of thing. So yeah, check it out. I think there's something for everybody on either platform and on both platforms. So you can mix and match it and make it work for you. And but yeah, that's a good thing, and I really do appreciate your support, because it does allow me to do what I do. And I need to keep doing what I do, because there's a YouTube person that I follow, and at the end of his videos he'll say, hey, and become a member, or hey, become a Patreon person, because it'll say your support helps feed a poodle. So I kind of want to steal his catch line and tell you the same thing. Your support helps feed a poodle, because Singer can help you. He can use your support. I'll take you around. I'll show you Singer. So there you have it. I want to thank you so much for your patronage and your membership and all your support here. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you on the live stream on Saturday, August the 6th at 2 p.m. here in my studio, and that's where we're going to be painting, and we're going to paint little fox pups. Some of the things I'm going to cover on Saturday, August 6th at 2 p.m. for this little fox painting that we're going to do together. I'm going to talk to you a little bit of how I start a painting, okay? And some of the things that happen as I start a painting. Number one is inspiration. Where does my inspiration come from? And sometimes inspiration can be just a thought, a spark, something I've seen, something that's delightful, something that I've been thinking about for a while. Inspiration can come from a lot of places. And yeah, so I was inspired, if you will, to paint foxes for this painting. References. Where do I get my references? I need to find references, and oftentimes I'll go to sites like Pixabay or some of the other free sites to look for photo references. If I do have to pull stuff that does not belong to me, and perhaps I might not have permission to use, those references are not copied. They're altered considerably through. I can take things through photoshopping and changing them around, because for me a reference is simply that. It's a reference. It's not the finished piece. All the artistic stuff that happens in a painting comes from here and here. So I use my references simply as that, as a reference. Composition, how it feels, how you're leading the eye. I'm going to show you how I do how I present my pieces and develop my composition. And there's lots of compositional rules that you can follow. And in this little fox painting, I'm going to maybe go over a few of those that I like to use. But I'm going to show you how I get the feeling, or how I lead the eye. Colors. What is my palette? What am I going to be using in this painting? And oftentimes, if you've watched a lot of my other videos, you know that I love using complementary colors. I'm big in using complements and contrast in my work. So what colors, or what my palette is, will dictate what kind of which way I'm shifting on that one. Am I going more for the complementary colors, or am I looking more for going for contrast? I'll show you how I lay in the shapes. And of course, I go with big shapes first and just block in colors using very broad strokes. And then I eventually do some refinement. The refinement part of any painting for me is where after I've already blocked it in and kind of have my bold, dark, massive colors, then I start doing some refinement. I'm starting to introduce some of the smaller brushes into my piece, and that's what I will show you in this demonstration live stream, how I go about doing that. Final render. Now, a final render for me is when I've actually done all the other aspects of the painting. I've done all the large brushwork, pretty much most of the small brushwork, and I stand back and look at it. And then I kind of, I think I can use a little bit more dark value here. I might have to do a little color correcting over there. Whatever it is, then I finally render it to make it a final piece. And in this live stream, we're gonna see how far I can take it. I'm probably gonna paint for about 2 hours and see how I bring this painting to life. It may not be the final rendering on, with the time frame that I'm giving to this live stream, but you'll definitely have a really good idea of how I start and finish a painting. So I look forward to seeing you on Saturday, August the 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this live stream. I encourage you to become one of my members here on YouTube and a patron on my Patreon channel. And we're going to be doing more of this, and it's going to be fun. So jump on and let's go ahead and have a great time.